Screem magazine, and I've heard of them before, but I've never got an issue of it. But it's kind of a it's a horror. Uh, it's a magazine for horror fans. You know, they talk about horror DVDs and horror movies and uh, comic books, and just everything horror. So anyway, this issue has a characterization of Jack Nicholson from The Shining. I thought that was a really nice looking cover. That was one of the main reasons that I picked it up. But also the feature story in it is about The Shining. If the writer Bev Vincent, he does the feature story in this magazine. He's you know, every time you hear about people referencing Stephen King's work or people putting together books about Stephen King's work, Bev Vincent's name is usually tied to it. So he's definitely a big player in the the Stephen King world, as far as he's you know uh, unofficial biographer, or whatever you want to call him. That's what I would consider Bev Vincent to be to Stephen King. But anyway, I got this magazine. I thought that was a really nice looking cover, and it has a really nice article in it comparing the book to Kubrick's version of The Shining and Stephen King's miniseries. So it's a really detailed article comparing all three of them: the book, the Kubrick version, and then the miniseries. So that's a really interesting article if you ever get a chance to read it. And this magazine's available online. Next, got this. This one actually was a Christmas present. Is issue of Creepshow, and I've always wanted one. For some reason or another, I never got it, but I got this one, and it has some of the stories, or these stories in it. It's Father's Day, Lonesome Death of Geordie Verrill, The Crate, Something to Tide You Over, and They're Creeping Up on You. The only story I know to ever be published anywhere else is The Crate. Now, I may be wrong. All these stories may be published somewhere else, but the only one I know of is The Crate. It's a lot of really neat artwork in here by Bernie Wrightson. He did some of he did the fifth Dark Tower book, and he did some illustrations for the uncut version of The Stand. Some of those illustrations in that book. So I really enjoy a lot of Bernie Wrightson's artwork. Anyway, thought I'd show y'all that real quick. Next thing I wanted to show you was pick this up, and this is the first edition of the Macdonald UK Skeleton Crew. I thought this was a lot better cover than the US first edition, which I like the US first edition, but I thought this was a lot better cover. I enjoyed that. That's the back of it. Got a real old picture of Stephen King. And that's the spine. I got this one all wrapped up because some of these older Macdonald books, the pages will kind of brown, and another collector suggested that a way to keep it nice is kind of wrap it up. And I do that with some of my other books, but this one I definitely want to do it to, keep the pages nice. Anyway, this is the first edition. It's in outstanding condition, and I was going to try to keep it that way. So anyway, that's that. Next thing was the Easton pressed edition of The Dead Zone. Now, if you've ever watched another collector's videos by the name of Reams, Um, you've seen this book before, and you've probably seen a lot of other books I've ever showed you. But anyway, this was done in 1993 by Easton Press, and I think there's two printings of this. There was one in 1993 and there was one in 2004, and combined there's about 3,000 copies. But you can pick up this really nice book for pretty pretty cheap, because I think it's so cheap because the publishing company Easton Press, they retain the right to reprint this book whenever they want to. So a lot of people like to collect books because there's a limited number of them. There's not going to be any more ever published, but that's not the case with this one. Easton Press could publish another set of these, tomorrow if they wanted to. But it's a really beautiful book. It's got the bookmark. It's got the gilded edges. It's got the real thick decorative end papers. I don't know if you can see that. I got one of the artists, or the artist in this one was Jill. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right. Jill Bowman or Jill Bowman. That's how I'm gonna pronounce it. It's Bauman. Anyway, I thought that was one of the neatest pieces of artwork. But it's a really nice book, and like I said, it's Easton Press of the Dead Zone. And somebody told me, like I said, there's two printings of it. In this one, you can tell by the way these boxes are done on the outside if you got a first printing or a second printing. That's the only way to tell, is these boxes. On the first printing, these boxes are all connected, and on the second printing, they're just they're not full boxes on the outside. It's just I believe it's just lines on the top and bottom. But the full boxes mean that you got a first printing. Somebody told me it didn't matter. Then again, somebody told me it does. So I don't know who to listen to. But anyway, either way, first or second printing, this is a really beautiful book. Looks like it's gonna be a long video, but if I need to, I'll cut it in half. This is the Gunslinger, and this is the audio book. It's the audio cassette by New American Library. And the neat thing about this one is this is a signed limited edition of this, and to my knowledge, Stephen King's only ever done 2 audiobooks. Now don't quote me on that. He could have done some other ones, but the only ones that I know of that he's done is the Gunslinger and the second Dark Tower, the Drawing of the Three. And this is number 663 of 800. So I understand that the Gunslinger, this one is pretty rare. But if you ever get your hands on the signed limited audio of the Drawing of the Three, that one comes up, for on the secondary market even less. So I'll be on the lookout for that one, and I'll try to, maybe I can get that one for a reasonable price. This one was also a Christmas present for me, and my understanding is the person who got it for me got it at a great deal, a really good deal. But anyway, that is that. I thought it was